Hey everybody, Jim and Chris here with Keeping It Real.
Keeping it real.
I kind of changed the intro this time.
What is that all about?
I know. I'm losing my voice a little bit this week. Was at a lovely premiere last night. Perhaps you were there too.
Oh yes, we sat near each
Furious
other.
7.
Yes,
What a picture.
That movie was so good.
It was a delightful experience at the cinema.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I feel like all the stuff that that movie's ridiculous.
Yeah, there's nothing too crazy to happen in that one.
By the end of the movie, every single cast member should have died a fiery, horrible death in that. In the movie, it was just wall-to-wall action.
Yeah.
But not in a bad way. Like sometimes you see an action movie and you're like, eh.
No, everything made sense, and
Yeah.
I was actually surprised at how well they balanced sort of the sort of heartfelt, dramatic side of it, and just the balls to the wall, crazy action stuff. I mean, there are some sequences in this that kind of rival, I feel like, parts of Fast 5 and Fast 6.
Oh yeah, I actually liked it better, I think, than both of those movies. Mainly because it's the balance that you talked about, but I think the action sequences were just really, really creative, and just even little things like some of the Tony Jaa fights were just that's just kind of thrown in there, but Tony Jaa is an amazing martial artist, and here's a bonus.
Badass in there, yeah.
So good.
Now,
in the movie.
Am I drawing a blank? There wasn't any background guys from the Raid in that movie, right? No.
I don't think so. No, but
that's who they need to get to direct the next one. What is it, Gareth Evans?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he'd be great.
I felt like some of the Tony Jaa sequences in there were borrowing from the Raid a little bit.
Yeah.
His movies, Protector and Ong Bak and stuff, they have those crazy, the stunt sequences are even better than the martial arts stuff.
Yeah.
And he had a little bit of this in this movie, but I just thought the fighting was just incredibly well done, and the car stunts were just really, really good.
Yeah.
And I thought they actually handled the Paul Walker stuff with a lot of care and just a lot of it felt right the way that they ended it. I don't want to spoil anything.
It was a classy send off, and I thought that it was just enough.
Yeah.
And the story itself, we're not really giving anything away, but it was sort of engineered in a way that the departure of that character felt very organic.
Yeah, it did.
So it was if they had had a different plot line, it probably would have been really
tough, yeah. And they might have had to just reshoot the whole thing if they had approached it a different way. But I honestly think that the beauty of, it was you could see where they were sort of using body doubles and they were using voices and stuff like that. A little bit. They did a really masterful job, though.
It wasn't that distracting. I mean, there were a couple of shots where you could tell that they kind of CGI'd in a face.
Yeah.
But it wasn't that distracting.
It wasn't distracting at all. And I think, of things like
and honestly, if we weren't kind of looking for that,
I don't know that
we wouldn't have known.
Exactly. And you kind of go in thinking similar to The Crow.
Yeah.
You kind of go in thinking oh, this horrible thing happened. Are you going to see any evidence of it in the movie? Because there's that really horrible Bruce Lee movie, I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, where he had died during the production and then they finished it, but he just really wasn't in much of the movie at all, and it just looked embarrassing.
Was it Game of Death? Was that?
Yeah, I think so. And basically it was not like that at all. There is a fully formed movie, and they did a really good job of making sure that everything made sense with what they had shot, and I feel like they probably, I don't know if they'll talk about it later, but I think they pretty artfully repurposed footage that they had shot in other parts of the movie and reworked the whole thing.
The dialogue in any one of these movies is so unique that it would only work in that particular film. I'm pretty sure, Dom, go! I'm pretty sure you can pull that from any number of past films.
Yeah, but, this is not, I would say, this is not a highbrow movie, but it's certainly delivered in the experience department. It was really, really visceral, really fun, and you just left the theater. There was that, kind of twinge of bittersweet at the end, but because they do a little tribute. I think we talked about that, and then there's kind of that heading into the credits. But overall, it was it's also a really nice celebration of that cast of actors and their love
Michelle
for Paul Walker.
Rodriguez has she's a pretty pivotal part of the story too, because they still had to deal with. Roth and I have joked about how it's become a soap opera. It's like, I've lost my memory and all this on top of everything else.
General Hospital.
Yeah, so they had to deal with all that, and her storyline is actually, in some ways, a bigger part of the movie than even the Paul Walker storyline.
Yeah.
Because his is almost a storyline like that character. It seems more like other people are reacting to him being there, like, he's got a kid now, he really shouldn't be doing this anymore. So it's a bigger deal for like Dom than it is for Paul Walker's character, for Brian.
I think they did a really good job in this movie also making Jason Statham's character seem really menacing.
Yeah.
And they did a really good job.
He's like the Terminator, basically. It's not like he doesn't have an army of goons.
Yeah.
He
is the army of goons.
Jaimin Hansu is kind of this supporting villain who pops up a few times.
Yeah.
And it's just, he's basically the guns and stuff like that. But basically, Jason Statham is just a one-man army, literally, and he's great.
That's a good way to use Jason Statham if he's going to be a villain. Is just blunt force trauma. He's not going to give you much nuance in his acting. So you might as well
There's no monologuing really.
Yeah, you might as well just point him at a target and have him go.
Although they do have one scene where he's drinking wine and has a little space. I'm like, that's a little Bond villain for this guy. He'd be cracking open a beer or just have a shot of whiskey or something.
You know who else was great in this movie? Kurt Russell. I really enjoyed him on screen.
Kurt Russell, actually, he is the king of the B movies. He can sell a cheesy line like nobody's business.
Yeah, I love it.
And I know that they initially approached Denzel, but I think Kurt Russell was perfect for this.
So good. I think
Denzel would have pulled you out of the movie, I think.
Right, and wasn't Vin Diesel saying something about the next installment?
Yeah, so Furious 8, if they make it, and I'm pretty sure they will.
Come on, people. It's going to make like $1 gazillion.
Well, it's going to be, this one is going to take place in New York.
Right.
And Kurt Russell's character is going to play a role in that.
Maybe he'll escape from there? I don't know.
I got that. I got that reference. So, but there is there is an opportunity now for them to sort of take the story either right back to like basics, make it real down and dirty, just a gritty street level movie, or you go to the moon. I don't know. Like, you've done so many things
actual
now
moon.
I mean, we've seen cars fly towards the Earth. Sequel, you switch it around. Now now they fly that way.
You heard it here first.
I'm just saying, people, we got to come up with something.
You can't take Fast and Furious to the hood because it came from the hood.
Yeah.
Now, but it can go to space. So
they can't, or they go to like I don't know, what is a place that they haven't done yet?
Antarctica? I mean,
they've
seriously now been.
It's just all, it's all snowmobiles.
It's going to be Dom driving up the pyramids in Egypt or something. I mean, whatever.
Yeah, and they run into like the scrotum transformer while they're there. Yeah, that'd be
whatever
great.
you want to do, Fast and Furious, I'm on board.
Yeah.
Bring me more.
Well, it's tracking at opening at like, obviously over 100 million, but the figures have varied from 110 to 140. What do you think it'll do this weekend? We're going to get the box office prognostication.
I want to go right in the middle of that. I think it's going to do, you know what? No, actually. I do think there's a lot of curiosity about the Paul Walker thing. I think it just looks really good. I think the trailers have all been really good.
I mean, I would say it's like Dark Knight in that there is that morbid curiosity factor.
Yeah. I want to say 135 million because I think 140 million is a huge. That'd be really huge.
That's really for the books.
135 is what I'm saying.
I'm gonna go 125.
Wow.
I mean, it'll probably only do like 110 only.
If I'm right, we'll split that extra $10 million.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. We'll go to Barney's Beanery or something. We'll do whatever we do. So. Furious 7, we're giving it a big thumbs up. Roth's review is up on the site. Roth couldn't join us today. She's talking to folks from Daredevil.
What?
Yep. So
lucky. Oh, I'm in Mexico last week, and now this week I get to talk to the Daredevil cast. It's a hard knock life.
Hey, speaking of two things, actually, you gave me a natural segue.
I'm just doing that. I'm setting you up.
Daredevil. He was saying to some other, was it to Lucy in Australia or somebody, that he doesn't think Daredevil is going to show up in Captain America: Civil War. I'm paraphrasing where he says, "I have not gotten that call."
Yeah,
So.
I mean, that's not saying he's not going to, but I actually think that before we see him in the MCU, he's going to get a suit. And I think we're not going to see that suit necessarily. There's some story that said that he wasn't even going to get it this season necessarily.
I'm pretty certain it's like the last episode.
But that's what I thought too. Is like he's going to be in the black suit for most of the time, and then he's going to get this maybe red suit, but it could be yellow too.
Well, I have a
red.
theory because some of the ninjas we see him fight are wearing red outfits. That look, he's blind. He can't tell red from black.
That's
what
a
if he
good
just
point.
grabs an outfit and people are like, dude, it's red.
It'd be really funny if like
he's like, what? I thought this shit was black.
It'd be really funny if he didn't know, like he was just wearing like the worst costume ever.
Like, this feels so badass.
Because well, I mean, like, okay, I mean, technically, no disrespect to anybody who's blind, but like, if you have a secret identity and you're making this stuff up all on your own, how do you know? Like.
Yeah.
You've got a costume.
Yeah.
That's it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I mean,
that's probably why he just has like the very simple street level thing,
I'm really excited to see Daredevil, and I don't personally need it to be involved in the MCU right away. I think it'd be cool if it ties in later, but like right away, I don't really need that in there.
And Roth has seen the first 5 episodes, and so next week, she can't speak to specifics about them, obviously, but she can give us her theory why she doesn't feel like Daredevil actually fits into the MCU.
Right.
And a lot of it has to do with tone and sort of the overall approach to the character. So, it'll be great next week. We can get her thoughts and stuff on there. You also mentioned, my others. Oh, Spectre.
Oh yeah.
So we didn't get to talk about the trailer last week, did we?
Yeah, let's talk about it quick.
How friggin' awesome was that, right?
Yeah, so good. I mean, I love the tone of all the trailers from all of these new
Craig
Bond movies, but this one was lots of intrigue, and really it was about the last sequence. I just really, really feel like Christoph Waltz is nailing it.
Yeah. I mean, he's ostensibly his character is named Oberhauser.
Oberhauser.
But
Yeah, that's right.
But
That's a joke
everyone
around
thinks
here
he's
because our boss is German.
Yes.
Yeah, cool.
Pear, that one was for you.
Pear, if you're listening, I'm sorry.
But I don't know. Do you think he's really Blofeld, or is he's number 2?
I don't know. I think he is Blofeld because I think he's going to recur, and I want them to not do the Khan thing from Star Trek. I want them to just play that card maybe even before the movie comes out, because if they're going to be like play coy with it, like it's fine if he's not Blofeld. And if he never becomes Blofeld, that's cool. But I think I'm going to feel like a little deja vu if I get to the theater and it's like, oh, okay, oh, yeah, his name is Blofeld, cool. Like, thanks. Why didn't you just tell us that?
Well, I think that, Bond will know that this guy that they're tracking, Blofeld, is actually, Blofeld is an invented personality because the guy is, a wanted terrorist.
Right.
So, he's just, I guess in a way it would be sort of like Mandarin then a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, that's cool. I don't mind. I just don't want the smoke and mirrors of them saying this.
No
smoke,
no mirrors.
Yeah.
Chris Carl. He's
Zero
anti-smoke and mirrors.
I don't like mirrors.
Hey, let's talk about another trailer dropped this week, Mad Max: Fury Road.
Yes,
we did a rewind theater, and yes, I apologize for misidentifying the other bald guy as Nicholas Hoult.
There were so many bald dudes running around in that trailer, but yeah, that trailer though, I mean, I think
crazy.
If you watched our rewind theater, you can kind of get the sense of our enthusiasm for that
It's
trailer.
just okay. Here's my fear, is that this is that it's a sucker punch again.
Nope.
That it's going to look awesome. You get in there, and it's not going to make a lick of sense. You're going to be like, this thing is a mess.
I disagree. I think it's going to be. I trust George Miller. I think he's going to do the right thing by it. Yes, the trailers look kinetic and amazing and all that stuff, and people are like, but where's the story? Where's the story? Honestly, if you look at Road Warrior, the story was take this gas and get it to safety. Period.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah, you have one job.
Was it gas or water?
Wasn't it? gas was the third one, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, maybe it was water.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So anyway,
which is funny because now, you know, California is now the governor's just put in like water. We're having a drought, people, and
it's way worse than that.
He's put in all these like new rules about water usage, and I just feel like we're getting to that Mad Max stage.
Well, I mean, rightfully so. I don't want to get into politics, but California is going to be out of water at some point, which means all kinds of nasty things like, you know, all the vegetables from the Central Valley, which feed America. That's going to be a big problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, so are we looking?
I'm going to have to shave my hair into a mohawk. I'm going to grow it up. I'm going to go get tats. I'm ready.
I mean, it would be nice to kind of pre-prepare and get some leather, you know, crotchless. What? I mean,
with the
fashion.
little studs on them and stuff too. Yeah. I'm going to have to start welding like some sort of Jeep, you know, muscle car hybrid thing. And I haven't welded anything in my life, so I'm going to learn the hard way.
Yeah,
you know?
It's time to take it to the Institute of whatever.
Yeah, I need to get like some sort of sickle on a chain. You know,
dude, I want to go through
those pole vault things where you just hang down and you grab people out of the
There's a dump truck with like Kodo drummers on the back and a Guitar Hero on the front. There's one.
I want that crap at Comic-Con.
Oh, so
Wouldn't that
much.
be awesome if they just drove that around?
It's gonna already be out by Comic-Con though.
Still bring it back anyways.
Porcupine car.
Porcupine car.
I love all
Pretty sure that's not street legal.
I love the monster truck that's actually like an old school like. I don't even know what a Deuce Coupe kind of thing.
Yeah.
Oh my! I'm so psyched on this movie. So psyched.
Wouldn't you love to go to like a car show with George Miller? Like those classic car shows.
I kind of think I might want to go anywhere with George Miller.
You know, and the thing is, he looks like Paul Greengrass. He's not like I thought he would be this wizened old man. He's not as old as I thought.
I'd go to the farmer's market with him, you know.
Yeah.
pick up some papayas or something.
Hey, speaking of Mad Max, you know what's dropping there with the old Fury Road, Chris?
Yes, I do. It's a little bit of Batman v Superman DVG.
Dawn
oh wait,
Justice.
DVG doesn't make any sense. Dawn of Justice.
Dolce Bagana.
Dolce Bagana. Yes.
Is that their name?
No, it's not Dolce Bagana.
It's Dolce and Gabbana, right?
It's Dolce and Gabbana. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I thought you were making up a new word.
No.
Plexiglass.
So, Batman Superman trailer dropping. I would imagine this is a direct attempt at trying to get more eyeballs on Mad Max.
Yeah, it is, and 2 months away. So that means that we're going to get to see our first look, and I think it'll be
your first look, those of us at Comic-Con, and those of you who perused certain backwaters of the internet.
I don't like you
clips.
people who saw that stuff. Anyway, but I think it's going to be a substantial look, don't you? I think we're going to get to see some stuff.
Yeah, I think at this point, you want to try and own the summer movie trailers. Yeah. You want to basically have the way The Force Awakens basically owned the Christmas trailers, you want to own the summer trailers. You don't want Marvel to, Marvel won't have anything to drop a trailer for.
I was actually thinking about the Force Awakens trailer and when it dropped.
Well, that's another thing too. I think everyone is rightly assuming that Star Wars Celebration, which is coming up, we might get a new trailer then. I mean, it's on their site that JJ is going. It's not a secret. You know?
JJ and Kathleen are going to be there.
Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher are on the site too.
Anthony Daniels will be there. Ian McDermott will be there, who's Emperor Palpatine / the Emperor. Then we've got Gareth Edwards and
Josh Trank.
Josh Trank, right?
Yeah, and they're going to do a conversation about their spin-offs.
Trank is a weird one because
I bet you they announced the title for his one there.
Yeah, it's a weird one because what are they going to say there? Like it's basically they want to have them in front of the fans, what are you going to say? I'm assuming we could get plot details out of it.
I wonder if it'll be something like where Josh Trank is essentially interviewing Gareth Edwards about his film, and then he drops a little and my movie is called, The Rise of Jackson the Rabbit.
So far, I'm really, really excited.
I'm telling you, Jackson the Rabbit is going to be the next big thing.
So far, I
from
think
an old thing.
they've been doing a pretty decent job naming these movies. I mean,
Yeah.
I like The Force Awakens. I like Rogue One.
Rogue One is cool.
So if the next one is The Rise of Jackson, then they drop the ball. But
Well, look, people, you heard it here. Rise of Jackson.
Rise of Jackson.
If you don't know who Jackson the Rabbit is, look him up. And I believe it's like
J-A-X-X-O-N.
Yeah. Yeah, it's almost it's
green.
spelled like Exxon, but yeah, he's a green rabbit.
Jackson.
And he
Jackson.
was like, and he wasn't played for laughs in the comics, right? He was just he was like a badass gunslinger rabbit.
It was like somebody's really stupid idea, though. Like, it was like
He
one
was
of the worst
wasn't
ideas.
he sort of like a surrogate for Chewbacca at one point?
I don't
Like he was like a buddy of Han Solo's.
You know, I read those comics, but it was like when I was 5. So
I want to get
don't
that
remember.
compendium that's out because remember those were the licensed Marvel comics,
Right.
And then and they've done it with like the Predator comics and Alien comics and Indiana Jones, any of those licensed comics. And that what is it? Is it Oni Press or IDW or somebody put them out in those giant compendiums?
Right. I have I have this really big comic of Empire Strikes Back. That's the whole Empire Strikes Back story from from the Marvel run, and it's like on pulp paper. It's super big. It's like bigger than a graphic novel. The dimensions
Oh, I
are
used to
huge.
love those ones. Yeah.
And I love that thing, but it is so torn up. Like it's not looking too good these days.
So yeah, we're going to be at Star Wars Celebration, which is April. Oh, what the hell is it?
16th and the 19th.
Yes, and then WonderCon is this week, and we're going to be at WonderCon.
Yep.
Probably not a lot. Don't expect like huge news out of there,
Yeah,
but
I
Warner
think-
Brothers will be there, and Blumhouse will be there.
Yeah, we'll find out a little bit about Gallows, I think.
And then Unfriended is another one, and then there's not going to be a Batman Superman thing
No,
going
there'll
on
be
there.
nothing
There
like
might
that
be something
there.
about Man from U.N.C.L.E. and probably Mad Max, but
lots of TV stuff there. I would assume.
Gotham is going to be there. I'm going to be talking to the cast from Gotham. And then, so let's move on from that jazzmatazz and talk about a little bit of news on the Avengers front that dropped this week. And it was...
This is such weird news.
It's
too.
a weird way to find out, too, because, when press members are just... You get constant blasts.
Yeah.
Like a lot of premiere invites. And we don't really cover premieres anymore. However... This one, because it was Avengers, I looked at it. And in a lot of other people obviously noticed this too. In the section that listed from the cast, it mentions Linda Cardellini
Right.
and Julie Delpy. Now, we asked Disney, can you comment on their casting? Nope, we're not going to say who they are.
Yeah, Linda Cardellini from
Freaks and Geeks, and of course, Velma on
Grandma's
Scooby-Doo.
Boy. She's awesome.
She was in ER.
awesome push.
She's on Bloodline now.
Bloodline's great.
I haven't watched it. It's in my queue.
I'm about halfway
Netflix.
through it right now, and she's awesome in it. And Julie Delpy, you'll recognize from she was in Killing Zoe, and where she's probably most famous from is for Before Sunrise, Before Sunset, those movies
Before
with Ethan
Midnight,
Hawke, with that directed by Richard Linklater.
There's one reader pointed out an interesting kind of theory he has about Delpy's character, which is that she could play Magda, the twins' mother, Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch's mother, and probably in like some sort of flashback, maybe
probably-
an experiment or something like that.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, I think that kind of makes sense, actually.
Linda Cardellini's going to be in a smaller role, I think. You know?
Do you think she probably plays like a government figure, an agent? Like a lot of people automatically are like, oh, she's Captain Marvel. I'm like, I don't think so.
I don't think she is either. I think she's just she's maybe on the old side for Captain Marvel, knowing what their movie plans are. You know, I think she's like 40 something, and I think they're gonna start with somebody in their 20s probably.
Yeah.
That's no rip on Linda, but like that's just how it is these days. It's like you're casting people younger because you expect them to be in movies for 15 years.
Yeah.
You think about Fast and Furious actually. That's been going for 15 years.
They're all getting a little long in the tooth.
Yeah, I mean, it's a 15-year franchise now, and it's by the time they're done, it's probably gonna be 20-some years, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's kind of crazy.
I wonder what kind of cars will you be driving at that point? Will it just be like a Mr. Magoo thing? Where he's trying to see over the wheel and
It'd be
stuff.
amazing. The whole episode's about Geritol. And by episode, I mean movie.
Go see my doctor.
Does Geritol even exist anymore? It used to be such a joke when we were kids.
I don't know. That and like Ben Gay.
Oh, yeah, Ben
Although
Gay was
now
awesome.
with all the muscle and back problems I have, I'm like, it's probably worth smelling like a eucalyptus drop just to feel better.
Icy hot, man. That's the key.
Icy hot, yeah.
Can't believe we're talking about Icy Hot and Ben Gay on this.
This is what happens when you keep it real. No.
We're keeping it real old.
Now, obviously, there's some huge news that we're going to talk about, but I'm going to make y'all wait for it. We're going to talk about some other things first.
Wow.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, Stephen Amell has been cast as Casey Jones.
I like that casting. I think that works.
He's trading in his quiver for a golf bag full of sports weaponry.
I think that's good. I like that. I think he's going to be good in that role. I think Casey Jones is like a no-brainer for this one, and he's good for that. So yay!
Yeah.
Whatever.
I mean,
I'm not excited about the movie itself, but I think it's good.
Yeah. And then The Rock has announced that he has signed on for the Disney animated movie Moana, and he's going to sing in it.
I mean, what can't he do?
You saw him sing a little bit on the Saturday Night Live.
What can't he do?
He's awesome. No, seriously. Somebody, I think it was Vulture, had an editorial where they're like, he needs to host the Oscars. I'm like, I would totally friggin' watch that. I think that would be awesome.
Yeah, I actually really enjoyed this year with Neil Patrick Harris. I thought he did an admirable job.
Which is funny because I feel like he's caught a lot of flack for that show being low rated, and I'm like, I don't think it's his fault.
I don't think it's his fault either.
I think it's just the nature of that show is it's too long, and there's too many forced bits.
This year felt, to me, the Oscars felt a little shorter than it has in a couple years. But maybe it's because I felt like there was a lot of really good musical performances that kind of propelled it forward, which is usually like the last thing I say. Like usually I'm like, oh, the music's on, I'm gonna go.
Yeah, but no, like the Selma Glory, that number from Common and John Legend.
I mean, Lady Gaga like stopped everything.
Although I have to say, all right, it was nice to hear her sing The Sound of Music, but I know it's the movie's 50th anniversary, but can we celebrate what came out this year and just move the show along? Do a separate thing for that.
I thought
do
it was
a live special or something. I don't know. That's my curmudgeonly take on that. X-Men Apocalypse. Bryan Singer teased some production art that shows Angel. Okay.
Okay.
This is, I'm just really confused because Angel now, there's one thing in Days of Future Past, you go back and you change things from happening, but having a dude born like 20 years before he shows up in the previous movie, that doesn't make sense.
You move a butterfly.
That dog don't hunt.
I don't know. I mean, I don't really care that much about like making it all match up as long as this is a good movie. And I want to see Angel used in Ben Foster was fine, but like he was in a movie where like I felt like he just kind of got lost in the shuffle.
Yeah, he got wasted in that.
I'd love to see another version of Angel that like kind of fulfills the promise of Angel. I'd love to see Archangel actually.
Well, I do wonder if they'll go there. The fact that they're using Angel and stuff.
Yeah.
Ben Hardy is this young unknown British actor who looks a lot like Warren Worthington. So he's the one that everyone is assuming is playing Angel in the movie.
Tom Hardy's brother.
Yeah, right. Suicide Squad. Okay, this movie is going to be awesome. I'm going to say it right now. I cannot wait to see it.
There are so many like actual characters in this movie at this point.
I really think though they're all glorified cameos for like Arkham Asylum is in there. The director David Ayer has been tweeting out photos of like little props that have the logo on there. Adewale Akbaje. No, I'm going to get his name wrong. Adewale Akbaje. Oh, damn it.
The guy from Lost.
Yeah, Mr. Echo. He's playing Killer Croc.
Right. That's awesome.
Scott Eastwood, Clint Eastwood's son, is in there, and rumor has it he's playing Steve Trevor.
How?
And it's just a cameo, basically. He's like a military officer who shows up in one scene.
Riddle me this. How are they going to do Killer Croc in this universe? Are they going to do him gritty, like mutated?
Well, I bet you it'll be like a motion capture thing, probably. I don't think they'll do... I don't think they'll do just like makeup on him, but I think he'll be just a big, scary presence. Like, I think you need to have those boogeyman kind of villains too.
He's gonna look like one of the Goombas from the Super Mario Brothers movie.
That's my fear, because I was really psyched that they were finally using Lizard in a Spider-Man movie, and then he just looks so generic.
Yeah.
You know?
I didn't.
How can you blow it when you have a lizard and a lab coat?
In a lab coat.
Come on.
And pants.
And purple pants, and a black turtleneck.
I mean,
oh, and a boxer.
Sounds like the character from like the Geico commercials. Or something.
Raymond, he's a boxer. Raymond, oh God, my eyes. Raymond Olubowale is probably going to be
throwing the high level of difficulty at you today.
I know. He's going to probably be King Shark.
Oh,
so we have Killer Croc and King Shark. What?
King Shark though for Aquaman, right? Like,
well, I bet you they're teasing some Justice. I wonder if this isn't the makings of like a Legion of Doom type thing for the JL. What do you think? Do you think Amanda Waller has been like experimenting on metahumans and creating these felons?
I don't know. I mean,
Like
it'll be interesting.
Superpowered villains.
It'll be interesting to find out because there are a lot of like ones that kind of go towards the more supernatural realm a little bit, or the more like mad science realm.
Yeah. But I'm glad they're going there.
Yeah.
I'm glad that it's not going to just be like Joker. And
I want to get that out of the way early so we can just play with it in the Justice
like
League.
This stuff has existed and all that.
I think, and maybe, I mean, this is really early to be talking about this, but I think Justice League is going to revolve around Brainiac, right? Like, I think that's when you get like a presence that's really big. It's kind of what they did with Avengers. Like, you want somebody,
He'll be
or
their
Darkseid
Ultron,
maybe,
you know?
But I think they're going to work up to Darkseid actually.
Here's the thing. They're going to, Marvel and DC, unfortunately, but it's a, DC now is going to look like an after-ran no matter what. So if you bring in Darkseid, it's going to look like, well, they're just trying to do Thanos. You bring in Brainiac, well, they're just trying to do Ultron.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's the by virtue of the fact that they started their shared universe a little later. They have some stuff though that they can do. Like they could do Legion of Doom.
I would love that.
They could do like supervillains versus superheroes. I just feel like it might get a little crowded then. But I think they just want a lot of options. That when,
what about Black Manta?
Oh yeah.
Remember he had that voice.
Suicide Squad, though, is going to set the stage for a lot of different things that they can pull from in the other movies, which is kind of nice.
I mean, even if they're just little Easter egg things, it exists. You can use it somehow. Let's move on from Suicide Squad and talk about Tron 3. According to, oh damn it, I didn't write down the site. Sorry, site. It's rumor has it it's going to be called Tron Ascension. So what do you think about that?
I mean, do you think it means
Putting
that
the ass back in the Ascension?
they're going to be like, they're going to be basically
going to Tron Heaven?
Yeah, well, what I was going to
that?
say is like sublimating, kind of like maybe they'll become sentient.
So it's going to be
world.
Like their singularity, kind of like transcendence.
Yeah. I don't know. That's my thought. Is
I don't know.
They're like the Tron world will start affecting the actual world.
Why do you think we're getting a third Tron movie?
I don't know. I mean, we talked about it before, and I just don't know. I think Disney maybe wants to make it work as a world, as a franchise.
Theme park attraction.
They can plug it into so many different places if it does work, and it is unique.
Remember there was that they were trying to do that for Wreck-It Ralph, have Tron be part of it.
Right.
I felt like that was the way you should have done it.
We haven't heard anything about Wreck-It Ralph in a long time. Like
I don't think we'll ever get a sequel.
You don't think so?
No,
I'm fine if
like,
it's a standalone movie.
Yeah.
I'm totally fine.
Well, I just feel like you have to really strike when that iron is hot. Like there's a reason why Frozen 2 is now in the works. I don't think there would be that level of excitement for Wreck-It Ralph 2 if it's 4 more years from now,
Yeah. Well, I would welcome a sequel, but I don't need a sequel. It's like if it happens that there's not a sequel, I'd be happy with that.
You know what Disney could do, because they're doing this a lot now? Live action remake of Wreck-It Ralph.
Ooh.
I don't
know that I'd like that though.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of feel like that would be. I don't know how you would even do that because I guess. You would still have to be in the
You could still get John C. Reilly to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Just put him in like those like Popeye arms.
Just put some Hulk hands on him, spray paint him. You're set to go. Steve Brule with fists.
Disney they're doing live action remake of Mulan. That was reported this week. And then we found out today they're going to do a live action Winnie the Pooh movie. It's going to be about an adult Christopher Robin going back to the 100-Acre Wood.
That's interesting.
But that's totally a reaction to Paddington, isn't it?
Maybe. I think the nice thing about Winnie the Pooh is that they're essentially his toys.
He's sweet. Yeah.
Right? Like,
I mean, if people don't know this, Christopher Robin was a real kid, and these were his real toys. And they were in a museum in New York. I think they were in the Met or something. I saw them. I have photos.
Nice.
So yeah, he was a real little boy, and there was actually
I'm a real boy.
there was a real bear that was kind of like a mascot in World War I that kind of inspired Winnie the Pooh.
Huh.
And they made a UK television movie about it. And Michael Fassbender played the soldier that was basically the caretaker of this bear, little bear. And the little bear, I think, became I think there's a statue to him and stuff over there. And that kind of inspired the Winnie the Pooh toy, which then, of course, gave us that is now going to make Disney even more money.
I could see it being like a sentimental kind of Toy Story sort of thing, but with the Pooh characters, which is awesome. I hope they look right,
Yeah.
I'm actually really stoked on what we've seen so far from Peanuts, because those characters look really cute.
But
and
this being a live action Winnie the Pooh, though, is they've never done that before. And I hope that I really liked Paddington. I thought it was very charming. Good kids movie, and there were a lot of things in there too for adults to enjoy.
Right.
However, I'm doing a Roth thing now with saying however. That's like her.
However.
Yeah. But I hope they take some notes on making the bear too realistic looking.
Right.
Come on. He's a talking bear. I don't want it. It doesn't have to be 100% accurate looking,
Right.
So yeah.
You might be scared of something.
Well,
a talking bear.
From talking bears to Marvel superheroes.
Oh boy.
Here we go. All right, so here was the big news that we've been holding on to. Deadpool, rated R. Not an April Fool's joke, people. There was that funny bit that Ryan Reynolds did with Mario Lopez.
Yeah.
And he beats the crap out of him at the end.
And he drops an F-bomb. Shame on you, Deadpool.
Well, this is why we know that the Deadpool movie is going to, the fans are getting what they want. Yeah. Good thing? Or is it too much of a good thing?
No, I don't care. I hope they stay within the bounds of. I don't want them to go too far for sure.
Yeah.
I was one of the people who thought it could work as a PG-13 movie, and I almost never say that.
Yeah.
But I think the character of Deadpool, outside of just some cursing and the violence, I feel like is your fair game in a PG-13.
Yeah.
But the cursing and stuff like that, I feel. You could have bleeped it and been fine, it could have still been you drop the one F-bomb, which you're allowed in a PG-13 movie, and then
they did
the
it
rest
in
of it
X-Men,
is bleeped. But I would say, it's good as long as they rein it in. Don't go so far that it's
Can you believe, though, that we're still, that you're allowed to actually F-bomb in a PG-13 movie?
Yeah, one.
Yeah.
I remember in Benny and June, when you save it up and there's only one of them, it is super obvious that you're like, oh. I was thinking about this in terms of Deadpool the other day, because I was like, it was kind of crazy that the one F-bomb was reserved for Wolverine in X-Men, because I was like, that's like one of your marquee characters.
Yeah.
And
but he was, and that's why I thought having Professor X drop it in Days of Future Past was actually pretty brilliant.
Yeah.
Because it shows how far that character's gone. Patrick Stewart, he would never F-bomb. Maybe he would.
I think with his new series, Blunt Talk, he's gonna be dropping some F-bombs. I'm excited about that show, actually.
Yeah, I haven't really watched any of the trailers.
He's basically like a UK newscaster who comes to America to try to make it over here.
So Piers Morgan.
Yeah, but he's super arrogant, super drug head guy.
Oh
and
my
he's got
God.
a manservant who's his only support. It just looks brilliant. I can't wait to see it.
Awesome. Let's see. One final news item. It follows. It falls. It starts filming this summer, and it's the big screen version of the Stephen King novel, and it's going to film this summer.
And it's split right into parts, isn't it?
You know what?
I thought it was split into two.
It might be.
I always get that in the stand confused, because those projects are always in the ethos.
Yeah.
Or in the ether, not the ethos.
The
ethos is something totally different.
But that's about all I have this week in terms of news.
Are you excited about it as an adaptation?
I think I think it really does come down to who's going to play Pennywise. I had an oddball casting idea for it. Don't hear me. It's just throwing it out there. Vince Vaughn.
Oh. I don't want to hate you. I'm not going to hate you. I kind of think that might be interesting coming off of True Detective too, but which I think is pretty much done shooting or close to being done shooting. So yeah, he could probably do it.
I'm just thinking.
But when does this start shooting?
This summer.
Oh, so okay, so they're casting it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
I don't know.
I'm sure we'll get that in like a month. We'll probably know.
Yeah, because we've been kicking around ideas here internally. I think Hugo Weaving was one that we came up with. Tom Hardy. Oh God, we had a whole list. We'll do a feature. We'll
Paul
put something
Rubens, Carrot Top.
Exactly.
Megatron.
All the old chestnuts here of Chris Carl's.
I'm just dropping them all. That's my butter. I'm just put them all in a row. All of them in a row.
There we go. You got the bell this week, a double bell. Yeah,
Captain Phasma!
That's my butter has become a thing, Chris.
I know, I'm trying
We're getting memes from people.
It's nice.
Do you feel proud of yourself?
I don't know. Like this is the kind of stuff my girlfriend has to deal with all the time. Like I'll just be walking around the house saying stupid crap, and then she has to deal with it. It doesn't become a meme around the house. I'm telling you that. But like
one day she'll put you in a home for it, though, Chris. You know that. That day will come.
That's good.
Let's see. Before we close it out here. Let's keep the Roth tradition alive since she's not here to join us. About recommending a picture for people to go see. I'm going to say there's the little horror movie that could is out right now. It Follows.
Oh yes.
We had Micah Monroe, the star of that, and she was in The Guest. We had her in here earlier this week. We'll have a interview with her going up soon, and it is an awesome old school style horror movie. The score is something a lot of people are talking about. It's got a very John Carpenter kind of sound to it. And there's this sort of dreamlike quality and almost like timelessness to it, because the kids will watch old black and white movies, and one of them has an old station wagon, yet they have iPhones and stuff.
Right.
So it's a weird sort of like, when is this taking place kind of thing, but it works. And the whole idea is that basically it's like, it makes, sex is a big part of horror movies, of it being like, that's what's going to get you in trouble. In this case, if you sleep with somebody who's being followed, that means now you are being followed, and it's a creepy way of how they're doing it. You just see all of a sudden somebody will just be coming at you, and it can be multiple. It can be multiple people, elderly people, children, and big, huge, like 7 foot tall dude.
I gotta tell you, elderly people coming at you is the worst. Like, that's the scariest. There's that sequence in Mulholland Drive at the end.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to spoil it, but I don't know if that's a spoiler for that movie. But there are some creepy old people.
But here's what made me think about that after I saw the movie. If you're being followed and you're a follower or a follow whatever, that means you had sex and recently, and that happened. So the first follower you see is this old lady and a Johnny, like she had come out of the nursing home or the hospital or something. That means Gramps was
Dude, there's this crazy stat out there that the second highest sexually active community is from like 70 to 80 or something like that.
Well, it's all the Cialis and everything too, but there's also a lot of older people getting VD, from that, because these old guys are like, my thing's working again, and they go out and they're like, I'm at 1 foot in the grave. I don't need to wear anything.
Got nothing to lose, man.
Yeah.
But you do.
But you do.
If there are any folks
what we're saying is, Grandpa,
70 years old,
be a sailor, carry one.
Put a Jimmy, put a Jimmy cap on there. But anyway,
hey, when I first moved to Los Angeles, little story. I went to I'm from Boston, and back there, Jimmy's means sprinkles.
Sprinkles, yeah.
All right, so I'm at school. I'm a freshman, and I go to the little ice cream parlor, and I ask the guy, hey, I want to get some Jimmy's too. And he's like, man, you got to go to the pharmacy for that. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Just put them on why would I put that on your ice cream? Because it's yummy.
Hello.
And I was like, what the hell is this guy's problem? Just give me my Jimmy's and my ice cream.
And he didn't.
Yeah.
Thankfully, he didn't put that on your ice cream.
No. So that was Jim learning what Jimmy's mean in the LA area.
Well, it follows that you would learn that. I don't know, that was really stupid. Anyway, here's my recommendation.
Okay.
And this is only because I recently discovered this DVD in the back of my car.
There's a story. Okay.
And I mean, it's mainly just because I was gonna take it to storage after watching it 1,000 times. This movie Versus, which is awesome. It's this Japanese movie. It's a zombie movie, but it's also like a swords,
nice.
an action movie. It's just crazy, over the top, violent, fun, and
Just like the IGN Office.
doesn't really make any sense whatsoever. But it's really, really fun. So check
Awesome.
that out. Versus.
All right.
I don't even know where you can see it, but you can get it on DVD.
Find it somewhere. All right, well, that'll do it for this weekend's podcast. We are going to be at WonderCon, so look for our coverage from there. Roth will be back next week. She sends her love and regards. So follow us at Chris Carl, at Stax, STAXIGN. Shoot us your thoughts at keepitreal@ign.com or leave them in the comments below. For all things movies, keep it here on IGN.